It's October, the spooky season. Here we are again reporting from October. The atmosphere here is one of the spookiest of all the seasons. Perhaps October is just pushier with the spooky, going around willy-nilly suggesting movies that March or April would never even dream of suggesting to you. Personified months aside, scary movies can be a lot of fun. Obviously, some more than others. Nobody's going to be describing Silence of the Lambs as a fun film. And if they do, run. So, in summation, when Fabio here was trying to have a really fun time on a roller coaster...
Oh yeah, it's like when I watched Silence of the Lambs.
That fun was interrupted by a goose to the face. If you're in the same room with them right now. What did you just say?
Silence of the Lambs is a really fun movie.
Keep an eye on them. Do not let them out of your sight.
Why are you looking at me like that?
Back out of that room.
Seriously, why are you walking backwards right now?
And as soon as you are free,
it's weird.
To take off running, run! Just run as fast as you can. Pretend that you're the gingerbread man and you don't want to be eaten with all of your delicious... Actually, gingerbread men are pretty disgusting, as are some of the scariest movies out there. But what do we do if we have a friend who just doesn't like scary movies? And what do we do during the spooky season with those friends who have no interest in watching any scary movies? Should you just kick your friend to the curb and say, "See you later, alligator"? Well, I don't think so. That's rude. Sorry, friend, you don't like scary movies. I'll pick you up again in November. What? That's not what we're about. That's not what we're doing here. It's about friendship and love. So in the interests of saving that friendship, let's focus on some movies that have a little bit of fun with their frights. A terrified tee-hee-hee, if you will. Some laughter with the languish. Have no fear. Well, maybe just a little bit of fear. But have just that little bit of fear. These are horror comedy movies. These are movies that can be described as a horror movie to some, but they know how to make a joke. Ridiculous and silly spoofs like the Scary Movie franchise. On the other end, you can have perfectly balanced horror and comedy, like Shaun of the Dead with their take on zombie movies, or Wes Craven's take on his own genre, the slasher film.
There are certain rules that one must abide by in order to successfully survive a horror movie.
In Scream. So pick up that phone and save that friendship.
Who's this?
Who are you trying to reach?
And invite your friend over to watch some of the scariest, funny movies that you will ever see. Well, actually, most of them aren't really that scary, but they're definitely funny. So pick up that phone and call that friend. Make the call that could save this friendship. Say, "Friend," insert friend's name. "I've wanted to watch a scary movie with you because the only movies I want to watch in October are scary movies. Would you come over to my house and watch a scary movie with me?" They'll say, "No, I don't like scary movies." And you say, I've got a counter to your stupid claim of not liking scary movies.
Buckle up, bonehead, because you're going for a ride.
We're gonna watch some horror comedies. I'm Johnny B, and I was raised by TV. So can you. So come along and let's watch some scary, funny things. Won't you? First up is one of my all-time favorites, Cabin in the Woods. This movie was made by Drew Goddard and executively produced by Joss Whedon. These two worked together on the Buffy series and some of Angel. They clearly understand how to make a funny, scary movie in the vampire genre. In Cabin in the Woods, we get their take on the Cabin in the Woods style genres, with a pretty big leftward twist, leftward and side parts.
Use your main finger on the yellow side and your other finger on the orange side and turn it.
My main finger?
Orange,
You gotta start backwards. Alternate corners. Get the two
One
red.
at a time. Spin the middle side topwise.
Well, we can't really just talk about a Joss Whedon project without talking about... He's gotten in a lot of trouble lately.
Topwise.
He treated a bunch of the people that he worked with like shit, and it came back to bite him in the ass.
Do you really expect me to not push you up against the wall, biatch?
Just try not to be a shitbag to the people who work for you.
This isn't his fault.
Don't be a shitbag.
Hey, That's just the way we talk.
Cabin in the Woods takes our familiar setup of a bunch of youngsters, college-age students who decide to go visit a cabin out in the middle of the woods.
I have a theory about all this.
Horror ensues, the terror tearing through the teens.
That's our cue to bail.
They're usually teenagers because, you know, that's who they're marketing to. They're teenagers. They want to get these kids to come buy their movie, so they'll say, hey,
How do you do, fellow kids?
go see this, other teens. I'm also somebody who likes a scary movie. Look at this one, perhaps. As these young adults go out into the woods, usually picked off one by one by whatever evil or slasher is out in the woods. Whatever is really the operative word here. It's one of the more enjoyable twists as long as you haven't had it spoiled for you by trailers or people or reviews or the movie poster itself. So after these cabineers, that's what we're gonna call them now, after these cabineers get to the cabin, things start going wrong, they're being picked off. I jumped ahead a little bit. Before they start getting picked off, there's this eerie vibe that starts picking up. The characters start acting different. We got to know the characters enough at the beginning of the movie to know that we liked these people. So we're not wondering, why did they go camping with this guy? We're wondering, why is this guy that they're friends with who we liked being a dick?
Since when does Kurt pull this alpha male bullshit? I mean, he's a sociology major. He's on full academic scholarship, and now he's calling his friend an egghead?
Kurt's just drunk.
The cabineers will find out soon enough. Some of them, maybe. Cabin in the Woods goes on a pretty wild ride.
I dare you to make out with
Please sit, Dana. Please sit, Dana. Please sit, Dana.
that moose over there.
Marty, have you ever seen a moose before?
And pays homage to pretty much every horror movie that you could think of. They're all there at some point being respected and heralded as the art forms that they are. If Cabin in the Woods has taught us anything, it's that
Cops will never pull over a man with a huge bong in his car. Why? They fear this man. They know he sees farther than they, and he will bind them with ancient logics. Have you gone gray?
Cabin in the Woods, really fun movie. Go even watch it too, also.
Now I remember why I put this down there in the first place.
In the horror genre, Cabin in the Woods is a big deal. Not the movie that we talked about earlier, but the genre.
Oh my God.
It's just the perfect setting.
It's perfect. And what'd they call this, a fixer-upper?
It's creepy, it's secluded.
All right, let's go check it out inside.
Nobody can hear you scream, maybe, if you're far enough out. And a Cabin in the Woods is a really big deal to Tucker and Dale, these lovable hillbillies that star in our next film, Tucker and Dale vs. Evil. Alan Tudyk, who is one of the funniest people who have ever lived, and Tyler Labine, a couple of hillbilly buddies who band every bit of cash together that they could muster, and they buy a cabin in the woods. You know, a nice fishing cabin that they could go away on vacations and weekends.
Tell you something, Dale. I cannot believe that I am standing in my own vacation home right now. Dreams really do come true.
It's a big deal. But on the way there, they encounter some privileged college students who are also heading out to the woods. These college kids have heard some stories about some murderers.
And you fuckers want to hear a real story?
Murderers. Hillbillies, to be exact, that haunt these woods.
No, this is cool. This is cool. I like this.
There's a bunch of misunderstandings as these college students mistake Tucker and Dale as the evil, murderous hillbillies of these legends, decide to take matters into their own hands. It doesn't work out too well for them, but I guess they had good intentions? No, they didn't. That's not a good intention. Murder is never a good intention, so just keep it right out of your head. If you think somebody's a murderous hillbilly, just let them be. You know, give them their space and call an authority. Not you. Have somebody check. This is goddamn America, and they're due their due process, for crying out loud.
Look funny to you?
No, not really.
Back in the 80s, Shane Black gave us a movie called Monster Squad, and Monster Squad takes all of the classic Universal monsters, like the creature from the Black Lagoon, Frankenstein's monster.
Gary.
Frankenstein's monster. The Wolfman.
Wolfman's got nards.
The Wolfman's got nards. That means that he hasn't been fixed. Who wants to be the one to dig up Bob Barker?
I think Bob Barker's still alive.
Go tell Drew Carey.
I saw Dracula.
You know, spay or neuter your pets.
And I kicked Wolfman in the nards.
The best horror comedies approach the subject with an air of reverence. They respect whatever it is they're parodying or spoofing or even just riffing on. Wes Craven genuinely loved slasher films, which is what made Scream so great.
Never alone.
Shane Black clearly loved the classic Universal monster movies with the Wolfman or the Creature from the Black Lagoon or even the king of all Draculas, Dracula himself. All Draculas are named Dracula. But we're talking about the big Dracula here, you know, Bela Lugosi style. So Shane Black brings this love of the classic horror movies to the kids on bikes genre, you know the ones made famous by Amblin Entertainment with a bunch of kids going around on bikes. It's better if they're swearing a little bit, like kids do.
Come on. It was nothing like that, penis breath. Elliot!
And they go on an adventure and learn things. Goonies is a perfect example of the kids on bike genre.
Don't say that! Never say that! Goonies never say die!
Monster Squad starts off with a group of nerdy kids who are obsessed with monster movies. They take turns quizzing each other on the rules of the genre and
Come on, it's a monster test. It's important, okay?
how to kill some of these great big monsters. Even making sure that we're clear on the names.
Is Frankenstein the name of the monster or the guy who made him?
It doesn't take long before these kids have to put their knowledge to the test as these classic monsters descend on their town. They just start going around. There's a Wolfman and doing this, and then there's a Dracula over there, and there's the Dracula's sirens or whatever they're called doing their thing.
Garlic! Come on, get out of here!
Dracula takes a pizza to the face, so I guess some of their knowledge is at least a little bit helpful. They even learn a few new things, like my favorite quote of all time.
Wolfman's got nards!
This movie's a lot of fun. It definitely appreciates the movies that it was drawing from, and has Shane Black's signature quippy dialogue.
I feel badly. What are you drinking?
Bad.
Bad. Sorry,
You feel bad.
Bad?
Badly is an adverb, so to say you feel badly would be saying that the mechanism which allows you to feel is broken.
Well.
In movies like The Last Boy Scout, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, or
Go. Sleep badly. Any questions, hesitate to call.
Bad.
Excuse me?
Sleep bad. Because otherwise it makes it seem like the mechanism that allows you to sleep.
What? Fuckhead? Badly's an adverb. Who taught you grammar? Get out. Damn it.
My favorite of the Iron Man movies, Iron Man 3, which a lot of people don't really like for some reason, but I say to those people,
You need to go home, be with your mom, keep your trap shut.
Before Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3 made Sam Raimi a household name, he made his big splash with Evil Dead. The Evil Dead. I always get the names confused. So back in '81, he made The Evil Dead, starring Bruce Campbell.
Groovy.
Ashley J. Williams, the star of the next 3 movies that I'm going to talk about. This movie series was groundbreaking and hilarious. On the set of this low-budget horror movie, Sam Raimi created one of the most well-known tropes that permeates through all of horror. The shaky cam. They didn't have a lot of money in the budget for, extra cameras and stuff like that, so they attached their camera to a board and then ran through the woods. And then we got the shaky cam. And it gives us a super awesome, creepy POV from the creatures that are going to be unleashed. So let's get into these next 3. The first Evil Dead movie sees our hero Ashley J. Williams, Ash for short, played by Bruce Campbell. You might know him from Briscoe County Jr., or Burn Notice, perhaps, or Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3, and also Doctor Strange. Multiverse of Madness. So Ash and his friends show up at their cabin in the woods. See, it's a running theme. It's creepy, but they're going along, they're having fun. Really gay old time when they find the Necronomicon.
Ex Mortis. Roughly translated, Book of the Dead.
A book that has a human face on it, and it's super creepy. This old archaeologist who was studying some ancient texts out in the woods here, and
the book served as a passageway to the evil worlds beyond.
No, it's Ash. Ash, please, dude.
It was written long ago.
You're reading it. You are gonna pick up and read the Latin that you don't understand, that you know releases this monster. That's what you're gonna tell me, Ash? Well, Ash, our hero Ash is he's an idiot. Let's just say that. Ash is a big old dumb idiot. Ash decides to push play and hear the rest of the recording, and what do you know? Evil unleashed. One by one, the evil dead starts turning Ash's friends into deadites, possessing things around the house and just doing all sorts of weird stuff.
I'm all right now, Ashley.
Sam Raimi's brother, Ted Raimi's in the basement.
Now I remember why I put this down there in the first place. I'm all right now. It's your sister, Cheryl.
As a creepy monster. There's a really weird scene in this movie where a woman gets sexually assaulted by a tree. That's my one area that I'd say I don't like this movie, but everything else is really good. I'm not excusing the tree rape, but let's move on. At the end of the movie, Ash is the final girl and narrowly escapes with his life. So it's super cheesy, had a lot of laughs. People loved it. It became a cult classic, and a few years later, the crew got together again to make Evil Dead 2. This time it doesn't have the at the beginning. The Evil Dead is the first one, and then Evil Dead 2, they dropped the. There's a lot of debate about whether or not this is a sequel or a remake. In an interview, Bruce Campbell has said, and I think Sam Raimi has also said it, Evil Dead 2 is not a remake, it's a sequel. The same character, Ashley J. Williams, Ash for short, I got it that time, gets a different group of friends and goes out into the woods to that same cabin.
Trivia in that people think that Ash, the character Ash, was stupid enough to go back to the cabin with a new group of friends.
I said a thing that was wrong.
Because the way it was retold, we didn't own the rights to our own movie.
I didn't mean to say the thing that was wrong. I thought that it was right, but then I found out that I was wrong.
It's a requel. You know, it's whatever you want to call it.
Anyway, this is still true. Ashley J. Williams is an idiot.
Shop smart, shop S-smart.
And he drives the same Delta 88, which is pretty cool. Actually, I don't like this car, but it's cool that this car made it into all of the Evil Dead movies. As you would expect, after reading from the Necronomicon again, Ash's friends start getting picked off one by one. Sam Raimi avoids the tree rape in this movie, but has all of the signature gaffes and over-the-top splatter horror that...
Peeing your pants is cool. Consider me Miles Davis.
With their goofball comedy that gets ramped up in this movie, they did some awesome stuff. Ash's friends, we're not even gonna worry about them because there's no chance of them making it, but...
I don't want to die. You're not gonna leave me here, are you? Are you, Ash?
We're really concerned about his hand because it's now been infected with the Evil Dead and it's slowly working its way up his arm towards the rest of him that'll take over him, and it starts trying to kill him. But then he lops off his hand at the wrist. So he fights his hand, who's now like Thing from the Addams Family, is victorious, sort of. You might think that he's at a disadvantage now because, you know, recent injury. But he's not. The guy on 127 hours had nothing on Ashley. Chainsaw arm. There's a chainsaw where his arm once was. He once had a hand, now he doesn't have this hand. Say this is the chainsaw. The hand is gone, but the chainsaw is there where the hand once was. So he's got a chainsaw arm and he's fighting off zombies. We're calling them deadites. Until some portal opens up, and he's transported back to the Middle Ages. And his car and a few of his things, his chainsaw arm and his shotgun. And that's where the movie ends. That's where Evil Dead 2 ends, with Ash in the Middle Ages, leading into the trilogy's final movie, The Army of Darkness. It's a lot less of a horror movie than the other two. The other two aren't exactly scary. Army of Darkness is...
All right, you primitive screwheads, listen up.
Goofball. It's a damn goofy movie. So now that we're back in the Middle Ages with Ash, we're pretty sure some weird stuff's gonna happen, and it does. Ash comes face to face with a deadite, and Ash vanquishes this viscous villain with vivisection and becomes a local hero in this small village. There's some local storyline that he's gotta navigate. We don't really care about that. The main point here is that Ash needs to get back home. He shows everybody his boomstick.
This is my boomstick.
And a wise man tells him the only way that he can get back home is by reading from the Necronomicon again. So he's gotta go find the Necronomicon, and along the way, fight an army of dead.
I possess the Necronomicon. I've crushed your pathetic army. Now I'll have my vengeance!
You know, the Army of Darkness, maybe? All these deadites that are just running about.
Buckle up, bonehead, because you're going for a ride.
Over-the-top acting occurs, and a bunch of idiotic antics as Ash fights his way through a Ray Harryhausen-esque army of stop-motion skeletons.
Give me some sugar, baby.
Gets distracted by a pretty lady. And when he's such an idiot that when he finally gets to the book...
Clatu, Berata, Nictu. Well, repeat them.
I got it!
He had 3 words to memorize.
Necktie, nectar, nickel. Definitely an N-word.
And he gets them wrong.
Clatu, Berata.
So he has to fight his way back the hard way. There was a later remake of The Evil Dead that was not funny at all and just really scary.
Your pants is cool. Consider me Miles Davis.
There was a revisiting of the Evil Dead world with Ash versus the Evil Dead, where Bruce Campbell really just wagged that chin and was charming as hell while he killed a bunch of dead things, and somehow we don't mind that he's such an idiot.
Groovy.
There's also video games that are pretty cool, so if you're interested in Bruce Campbell's boomstick...
One by one we will take you.
Evil Dead is where you're gonna have to make your pick.
I don't know what integrity is, but that is some good shit. All right.
I don't know what that means, but... So there it is, a whole list of movies that are guaranteed to make you laugh at least once, even if they don't make you quake with fear. So why would anybody want to watch a scary comedy?
Why?
Or a comedic horror movie, for that matter?
Because I love you. And so does Daddy. Even though he won't wear his safety belt.
Why?
Well, I don't know, honey. I really don't know why.
Because we found out that each of us is a jock, a nerd, a demon from a hell dimension, or a couple of hillbillies.
Buckle up, bonehead, because you're going for a ride.
If we all wore the current safety belts, we could reduce or prevent more than 900,000 injuries.
Have you seen any of these scary movies? If so, which one was your favorite? And I know that I missed a few, so tell me, which movies make you titter like a toddler while trembling with terror? If you don't want Satan to possess your penis, like this video. If you want to make sure that Satan continues to not infect your penis, subscribe and, you know, tell all your friends. Come on. We can still be friends now. We don't even have to wait till November. Look at you, there's no devil in your peen. You've got it made. So, thanks for listening. I'm Johnny B, and I was raised by TV. Devil in the peen. You know what I mean. We talked about a movie that starred Tyler Labine. Not to be a prick, but he was upstaged by Alan Tudyk. Bruce Campbell was here, but we didn't have fear because we had a giant bong all along. And we knew the rules, and we got really far, 'cause we knew that the Wolfman had nards.